God damn it. Summer jam it. Huh? Cozmik, what? What is it? You tell me what it is. God damn it. God damn it, you tell me what it is. You tell me what it is, huh? God damn it, you tell me what it is. Cozmik Mind. UV. Hopefully the sound is coming through much clearer now. Hopefully the sound is coming through much clearer now. We got a brief show tonight. You know what I'm saying? On detachment for Black people, indigenous, the original people, copper tone people. Make sure you share this out. Make sure you hit your subscribe, hit your notification for the near shot. And yeah. Let me go share this out real quick. We got our excellent Empress Star flying through. You know what I mean? Empress Star take you far no matter where you are. So yeah. So she will be getting insight on or love and light or whatever, all the stuff, all the galactic light and all that great stuff as well on this presentation. So sit tight, chill out, relax, and we be back. Peace.
What's up? What's up? What's up? This is Empress Star here to take you far. We're gonna jump right in today. We're talking about detachment for black people from the Matrix, and what that looks like. So, detachment for black people from the Matrix can be understood as a conscious liberation from oppressive, false, or limiting systems that have historically controlled and shaped black identity, potential, and power. Here's a deep overview of what this attachment can look like. So, what is the matrix? In this context, the matrix symbolizes Eurocentric systems of control, education, media, government, and religion, economic exploitation, capitalism without ownership, wage slavery, psychological programming, self hate, psychological programming, which is self hate, colorism, inferiority, the inferiority complex. Um, they also symbolizes it also symbolizes the horrible food we have, health and medical systems that neglect or harm black bodies, distractions like consumerism, celebrity worship, and propaganda. Once again, that's distractions like consumerism, consumerism, buying too much when you don't really need it, celebrity worship, putting all that energy into celebrities when you can be putting that energy into yourself, and propaganda, all this stuff that they put in your face that don't really matter. And why detachment is necessary for black people, for melanated people, copper tone, and indigenous. It's important to us because we have to reclaim our identity by disconnecting from Eurocentric definitions of success, beauty, and intelligence. Because we're naturally beautiful, so taking on trying to look like them, that actually makes us look um, stupid. We need to reconnect to African ancestry, indigenous knowledge, and divine purpose. We need mental liberation by deprogramming from internalized racism, trauma, and generational curses. We need to heal the mind from trauma based control, such as things in the media, which cast out fear, um, and the education, the lies that we get through education. We need economic sovereignty. We need to stop feeding systems that don't circulate our melanated dollars. When we get money within 6 hours, when most people in a job, when they get their money within 6 hours, the bulk of their money has been dispelled out and not back into the melanated community. We need to build black owned businesses. We need to get land. Um, we need to get liberated through technology, and we need our own banking systems. And when we're doing all that, we need to learn how to work together so it won't be chaotic. We need spiritual alignment, move from religious dependency to spiritual awakening. We need to remember ancient spiritual systems such as Kemetic or the Yoruba, and etc. We need health conscious. Break free from the Western diet that causes disease. That's break free from the Western diet that causes disease. We know everything is messed up, all the food, the whole food supply. But if you're not growing your own food, you should choose the lesser of the two evils, which is a plant-based diet. We need to reconnect with holistic, African-centered wellness and plant-based eating. Once again, plant-based eating, that's going to fuel your body instead of putting um, toxins in your body that are just going to rot. You know, of course, we have the choice and the option to do what we want to do because, hey, whatever. But why don't you choose to feed your body life instead of putting things that are harming you and you know it's harming you, but you try to defend what you're doing. But then when later on down the line, when you have diseases because of the toxins that you're putting in your body, an example is meat, putting it in your body, then how can you get sympathy or empathy from getting sick when you already knew that you shouldn't have been putting that in your body? So that was actually your fault, but you are defending it. So don't expect for people to be so sad because you have a sickness that you brought on yourself because you didn't want to have a proper diet. And it takes small changes. All right. Another way we can continue to build and detach from the matrix. Boycott mainstream education. The detachment plan will be to unlearn and relearn. We need to study Black history, African scholars, and indigenous knowledge. Break away from capitalism. We need to practice group economics, start family businesses, co-ops, and bartering systems. We need to break away from the religious system. And the plan for that would be to explore African spiritual systems and metaphysics. We definitely need to break away from the media and entertainment. And if you can't break away, just limit the toxic input. And you need to support conscious Black-centered media. We need to break away the matrix system of processed food. And by doing that, you can transition to a whole foods diet with herbs and different African ancestral diets. We need to break away from toxic environments. The detachment plan will be to build Black compounds, eco villages, and intentional communities. We need to definitely break away from the Eurocentric standards. And by doing that, the detachment plan will be to embrace our natural hair, melanin, and spiritual gifts, and our ancestral names. So the ultimate goal of detachment is freedom of the mind, body, and spirit, as well as economics, sovereignty over Black destiny, collective healing, and generational rebuilding. So, detachment for Black people from Eurocentric diets and system and cultures. The detachment from these diets. Here's a blueprint. Well, first, why do we need to detach? The Eurocentric systems were never designed to benefit melanated people. They were created for control, to control the land, for labor, and to control the bodies, to erase African identity and their spirituality. And they have really done a good job of that. Good thing we're in the age of intelligence, the age of information, where all the information is out, where you can learn about your history, you can learn who you are, you can go deep within and really just connect. So I'm glad that we're finally rising up and waking up from the slumber that we've been in for so long. The Eurocentric system was also made to profit from generational trauma, to feed Black people systems that weaken, not empower. Detachment is not just rebellion, it is survival, healing, and rebirth. We need to detach from Eurocentric diets, which includes processed foods, fast foods, sugars, and most of the time, most of the ailments in our bodies come from sugar overload, sugar addictions, pork, red meat, and dairy, which is often genetically modified. We need to detach from overconsumption, poor food timing, and lack of herbal knowledge. And if you stay attached to that, the effects will be high rates of diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, cancer, disconnection from nature, and ancestral food wisdom. Dependency on a medical system that's not here for you, it's just here for profit. It's here to make you sick and keep you sick so you can stay on their drugs instead of using the herbs from the earth to heal yourself. So, the path to detach from the Eurocentric diet would be to return to a plant based indigenous African diet with foods like fonio, teff, moringa, millet, okra, yams, and black rice. And all of those on that list are really good, except I can't say that about fonio because I never had it, but I soon will. Um, you need to add fasting and detoxing into your detachment regimen from the Eurocentric diet. You also need to add different herbs, herb capsules, different herbal medicines, different just all kinds of herbs, just incorporated in your diet, as well as fruits and vegetables. You need to grow your own food and start building community gardens and avoid GMO processed and colonial foods. We also need to detach from the Eurocentric legal systems because it's punitive, not restorative. We need to detach from the education system because it erases the African history that is so rich. We need to detach from the religious system because it's whitewashed. It whitewashed all of the spirituality. Even when you look in the movies, everything is whitewashed. We need to break away from the capitalist system. It's extracting, not empowering. And it's harming us. It's keeping us melanated people in cycles of poverty, trauma, and dependency. It's creating mental slavery through media, school, and religion. It's destroying the Black family and replacing it with the state. The detachment plan will be to study African system of governance and spirituality, law, and trade. Create self-sustaining ecosystems by buying land, schools, banks, and compounds. We need to decolonize the mind and practice sovereign thinking. We need to unplug from political parties that never serve Black interests. We need to detach from Eurocentric cultures. Eurocentric culture promotes individualism over community, beauty standards that exclude melanin, consumerism over sexualization and status chasing, worship of whiteness, celebrity, and external validation, which results in identity confusion, self hate and division, disconnection from ancestral power, And the detachment plan for that would be to embrace African centered values, which is community, legacy, elders, and purpose, among just to name a few. We need to celebrate natural beauty, African fashion, and melanin magic. We need to raise our children, our star seeds, with cultural pride and historical truths. We need to create Black led rites of passages and traditions. To truly detach is not just to walk away, but to rebuild the world you belong to. Detachment means reprogramming your mind, healing generational wounds, choosing your culture, your food, your system, your intentionality. All right. That was the first half of the show, detaching from the matrix. The second half is going to be presented by none other than Cosmic Mind UV.
Oh, well. Empress Star, I'm pretty sure took you far no matter where you are. So, this next portion is going to be detachment for indigenous, original black people, Coppertone, etc., from family, friends, and familiar circles during the Grand Awakening. All right? What is the Grand Awakening? What is the Grand Awakening? First of all, you should have shared this already to all of the people that you know are kinda awakening, they sleep as shit, etc. They in a coma, etc. Like you should be sharing this out, you know what I mean? So that you could do less talking, you hear me? And less convincing all of us. What is the Grand Awakening? The Grand Awakening is a spiritual, mental, and ancestral rebirth where indigenous, Coppertone, etc. black people begin to unlearn generational lies, reclaim ancient truths, raise their vibration for the near shine. All right, hold on, let me go and change the joint real quick. Let's see what else we got. All right, align with divine purpose or purposes. Align with divine purposes. See through the illusion and delusion and whatever, the gens, aka the matrix. However, with awakening comes a necessary separation. Why detachment happens with family and friends? This is why it happens. Different frequencies. You are no longer vibrating at the same frequency as those around you, right? Some may remain plugged into the matrix while you are unplugging. Number two, the truth makes people uncomfortable. The truth makes people uncomfortable. Speaking the truth about food, religion, spirituality, and the system, etc., may trigger those still in survival or denial mode. We got to do a show on the denial mode. resistance to change. Family and friends may mock, isolate, or guilt you because your growth threatens their comfort zone. Let's see. Hold on, y'all. We're gonna do a quick commercial break. Okay. Let's get back to it real quick, real slick. Resistance. Okay, yeah. Spirit number 4. Spiritual assignments are not shared. Your journey may be sacred and solo. So if you do luck up and be able to align with somebody else that have the same type of journey, similar, man, that you know how rare that is. That's why people say it's twin flames and da 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 da. Designed to prepare you as a leader or healer. This is why a lot of people say you go through the isolation phases and etc. And some of us, like me, sometimes I get locked into that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be around motherfuckers. So, signs you're detaching during the awakening. You feel alone, even in a room full of people. You feel alone, even in a room full of people. You're being called to silence nature and ancestors. You stop participating in toxic traditions, gossip, or religion, etc., activities, etc., unproductive activities overall. And food and stuff like that too. People accuse you of quote unquote acting different, end quote, or being too deep, end quote. You no longer tolerate disrespect or low energy. Emotional reality of detachment. Okay, so let's do a quick review. We've gone over with Emperor Star taking you far, no matter where you are. Sacred space gonna be all in your face very soon. Alright. And Who You With Wednesdays, we got some great topics coming up. Hopefully we'll have some guests coming up. We'll see. We're looking for panel members on that too. Alright. We went over detachment from the matrix overall for indigenous copper tone black people. We went over why it's necessary. We went over steps to begin detachment. We went over the ultimate goal of detachment. We went over visual symbolism, optional for art or imagery. Oh no, we didn't go over that. My apologies. We went over detachment for black people from Eurocentric diets, systems, and cultures. Why detach? Detachment from Eurocentric diets, the systems. Let me see. What else we do? Now we're on the Grand Awakening. This what leads us to the quote unquote Grand Awakening a lot of people talk about. Okay, emotional reality of detachment. Feeling And then it says higher truth. So you're going to feel what? Loneliness. Higher truth. You're being prepared for alignment. Isn't that something? Feeling. You're going to feel guilt from separating. Higher truth. You're choosing healing over habits. You're going to feel fear of judgment. I told y'all it's really stereotyped or stigmatized. But anyway, you're going to have fear of judgment. Higher truth. Their opinions can't block your calling. Let's get the ball in. You're going to feel a sense of loss. Higher truth. Old tides or old ties are ending to make space for new soul tribes. What to do while detaching? Protect your energy. Protect your energy. Number one, use spiritual tools, sage, crystals, meditation, affirmations, ancestral work. Limit access to those who drain or dismiss you. Honor your path without ego. You are not quote unquote better, end quote. You are just more aware. Lead with compassion, not control. So this is when the letting go phase and the cord cutting phases and things have to happen. Of when people say everybody can't go, everybody don't want to go, etc. Connect with what? Like-minded beings, people, etc. Find your soul tribe, people who reflect your growth and truth. Truth. Like, y'all know how I do with this language shit. Truth in the booth. Alright, like Sylvester Cat type shit. But look, build new bonds rooted in healing, liberation for the nation, and purpose. We gotta have purpose. We can't just be around each other. Multiple purposes. Forgive, however, set boundaries. Forgive, however, set boundaries. Some are going to be strict than others, depending on who we talking to and what the circumstance is. Love them from a distance, if necessary. Love them from a distance, if necessary. Release the need to be. Release the need to be overstood or over understood. Release. Then I'm talking to myself, y'all. Release the need to be over in a motherfucker stood. Remember this. Quote unquote detachment is not rejection. It's redirection. Let's brick and mortar. We're gonna bring water slaughter. Quote, detachment is not rejection. It's redirection towards your higher self. End quote. You may walk away from some people. However, you are walking towards divine alignment, ancestral healing, legacy building, soul level freedom. That's what we have to do a show on. What is when they say free my mind, free your soul? You hear me? That's what a lot of the songs back in the day, the psychedelic type of songs, was about. Yeah, man. Look, overview. We about to end it off, y'all. Overview of all the above. Here's a powerful overview that unifies all the ideas of detachment for indigenous black Coppertone, the original people, during the Grand Awakening from Eurocentric systems, diets, culture, family, and the matrix as a whole. All right, here we go. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share. My bad, my bad. But no, not my bad. The grand detachment, the grand detachment. This the coup de grace. A liberation blueprint for indigenous Coppertone black people. What is detachment in this context? Detachment is the conscious unplugging of black people, the original people, Coppertone people, from systems, mindsets, and relationships that do not serve the soul, the body, the culture, or the future. It's about leaving behind survival mode, breaking generational programming. We got to do a show on generational programming. I got to put all of these in the notes. Choosing truth over comfort. Man, rebuilding from an indigenous or African-centric or centered foundation. Put it near shine. Detachment from the matrix. The quote-unquote detachment is a mental. Hold on, let me switch it up. Let me switch it out. All right, here we go. Here we go. Detachment from the matrix. The quote-unquote detachment, end quote, is a mental and spiritual trap built by colonialism, white supremacy, religious programming, economic and media control. Why detach? Because it was designed to keep indigenous Coppertone black, the original people, disconnected from their power, trapped in cycles of trauma, distraction, and dependency. This is what we're seeing on a large scale between a lot of us on different platforms, etc. You see what I'm saying? Trapped in cycles of trauma, distraction, and distractions with Z's and dependency. Dependencies, unproductive. Divided and domesticated. Divided and domesticated. Number 3. Let's see. Detachment from Eurocentric diet. This is vital. Because this is, we did a plant-based joint on how I gotta really cover on. That's why we did brain foods, plant-based brain foods. We did a whole show about that. Detachment from Eurocentric diets. Colonial food systems feed what? Dis-ease. Colonial food systems feed dis-ease, not wellness. The typical Western diet causes cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure. Alright? Destroys the gut. Destroys the gut. That's your other brain. We gotta do a show on the multiple brains. Huh? That's why our gut be talking to us when we quote unquote hungry. It be like, okay. Destroys the gut, the womb. It destroys the womb, ladies. Did you hear that? So all the other rationalizations and bullshit, I don't want to hear none of that shit. Colonial food systems destroys the gut, destroys the womb, and the pineal gland and the phallus, fellas, pause no homo, break spiritual connection to earth and ancestors. How you gonna reconnect to your ancestors when you eating food from the enemy? Let's come on with it. Let me get it. Let's come on motherfucking with it. Let me get. How you gonna reconnect with your ancestors when you not eating food to connect to them? Ain't it mine? Huh? Okay. Reclaim indigenous African quote unquote superfoods, herbal healing, fasting, and food grown with intention. That means speak affirmations and etc. over your gardens and etc. Alright? Not just our water and things. Plant-based, alkaline, and intuitive eating. That means being highly more aware of what we're eating, reading the ingredients, etc. And if you're unfamiliar with, if you're unfamiliar with the ingredients, look that shit up, and then you'll be surprised what is in there. Detachment from Eurocentric systems and culture, from schools and religion, media to capitalism. Most institutions erase indigenous, coppertone, and or black identity, promote Eurocentric or European or white-centered norms, encourage competition over community. The solution, you hear that? The solution, return to African traditions or indigenous traditions, productive traditions, communal economics, rites of passage, definitely need that right nowadays. Spiritual systems, etc. Productive ones. Build quote unquote coppertone, black, indigenous, black-led knowledge and or education, law, agriculture, and healing networks. Detachment from family and friends and familiar circles. Alright? So that's what we went over, you know what I'm saying, at this juncture, you know what I mean? The grand awakening, the detachment from loved ones can occur because they're still in the matrix. They are still in the goddamn motherfucking matrix. Your transformation again threatens their comfort. I gotta go over this again, just because these are certain bullet points that you gotta hear one more time. Your purpose requires separation for elevation and elevation. The truth, not all loved ones can come with you. Not all loved ones can come with you, them, they, those, us. No motherfucking fuss. Detachment is divine. It protects your destiny. It detects you, them, they, those destiny. What the fuck? Empress Star, take you far. What the fuck? So the colonial foods destroys the womb. If that's not enough to stop eating this crap, I don't know what the motherfucker is. Ain't it? Let's paint it. Ain't it? Let's motherfucking paint it. Let's paint the goddamn picture. Huh? Okay. Let's get it. Ladies, it is deeper than you love your chitlins, you love your ribs, you love your seafood boils, you love your whatever shit, whatever bullshit ass shit. It's bad enough a lot of y'all putting the goddamn wigs and weaves and chemicals, so it's just chemicals all over. That equates to a wasteland. Why he be saying a wasteland? Cause you ain't nothing but filled full of chemicals, bitch. The fuck wrong with that? That's foreign goddamn substances. Huh? What you mean you got chemicals coming through your brain? You got chemicals coming through your eyelashes, nigga. You using chemical filled body products. You hear me? So you putting chemicals through your epidermis, your biggest organ, which is your skin. So you got chemicals all through you everywhere, and you saying what? And you eating chemicals and everything else. Ain't it, man? So that equates to a what? A wasteland. Anyway, let's keep going. You will find your soul tribe once you clear space. You, them, they, those, us will find your soul tribe when once you, them, they, those clear space. 6, the spiritual purpose behind detachment. So we went over so many different varieties of why we should detach, the purpose for it, and who we should detach from, the systems, the diets, ain't it? The friends, family, colleagues, etc. The mental states, the mental sets, ain't it? You're being reborn. You're being what? Say it with me. You're being reborn, not abandoned. You're being reborn, not abandoned. You're reclaiming what colonialism and whomever this narrative is for, slavery and capitalism, took from you, them, they, those. A lot of people keep yelling ancestors, but a lot of ancestors, what? Got flooded out. A lot of their land got taken. A lot of their businesses got undermined. A lot of that shit. They don't want us to be conforming, fam. And then a lot of the ancestors was tap dancing and conforming. So it just depends on where the dice fall. You feel me? You feel me? We got more comments coming in. Let's give it a spin. Well, damn, pound sign wasteland. Huh? Yeah, I'm just saying you feed them, they, those is feeding their biggest organ, which is our skin and our whatever, which is then what's the number, what's the fastest place for the shit to get into your body? Or when they say you gotta, when you in cold weather, what's to say they cover your head, your hands, and your feet, right? So if you putting chemicals, if we, them, they, those are putting chemicals in our crowns, first of all, like I said, the products you're using, depending on what products you're using, then on top of that, you got on eyelash crap or whatever else. Then if you not using natural lip glosses or just stuff that you put on your face, I'm just saying. Anyway, you're becoming the ancestor your bloodline needs. Did you hear that? You, them, they, those, etc. This is why we keep saying on assignment. Do we understand what that shit mean? That means we not down here to be goddamn lollygagging and playing and bullshitting. You're becoming your ancestor, your bloodline needs. They don't even over understand that. Huh? Them, they, those. We got more comments coming in. We got the red light special from Emperor Star taking you far, ain't it, man? This that green light goddamn special for they motherfucking ass, ain't it, man? They don't want us to detach from the matrix. They need us, unfortunately. And unfortunately, a lot of them, they, those, and the original beings think we need them. See, that's where the problem is at. See, that's where, at this juncture, where the situation and the problem and the ailment is at. We think we need them. What they say, socialization and all of that stuff. When they was doing that segregation shit, that was great. Go do your own shit. Anyway, and that's why they practice nepotism. That's why we did a show on nepotism and all the stuff. Anyway, this is not just about leaving. It's about returning to indigenous or African values, returning to sacred knowledge, returning to the self or the selves, tools for the journey. Take notes for the quotes. Fasting, fasting, and we gotta do I'm gonna do a show on fasting probably next. Different forms of fasting, meditations, different forms of meditation, and journaling is different forms of journaling, studying indigenous and or Coppertone and or African centered thought and history, protecting energy with crystals, meditations and affirmations and nature, building with others on the same frequency, final wisdom, and we gonna close this out. Detachment is not abandonment, it is ascension. Let's make that to your motherfucking attention, end quote. Detachment is not abandonment, it is ascension. Let that be at the front of your attention. The higher you rise, the less you can carry, ain't it? What is it? The higher you rise, the less you can carry. Henceforth, shedding process, trees, animals, even us, huh? You shed pounds, you shed weight, you shed hair, we shed skin, etc. The higher you rise, man, not mourn, the less you can carry, ain't it, man? Bag lady, bag man. You were never meant to just survive in the system. You were born to transcend it. You were never meant to just survive in the system. You were born to transcend it and rebuild from your roots. This has been another excellent presentation. Hopefully you have shared this out. Make sure you support the channel. Make sure you support Empress Star. She'll take you far, no matter where you are. Sacred Space gonna be coming through, all in your face. What you, who you with Wednesdays? You know what I mean? We got great stuff coming through with the topics for that. And so, like I said, let's say it with each other. Come on. If you want to do a show on here and elevate with Cosmic Mind UV where you need to be, just, you know what I'm saying, link up. Other than that, Cosmic Mind UV.